Hello, Ben Kingsley here, one of the co-creators of the Moorr platform. Now we have a big dream, a big vision for Moorr in terms of the all-in-one platform that we're going to build for aspiring Australians who want to achieve their goals, who want to organise and manage their money better, who want to, if they're looking at investing in property, have the best property investment platform and ultimately create wealth over the journey. So putting all of those pieces together to achieve financial peace. So it's a huge dream, and I'm very excited today to be launching the new MyFINANCIALS tool within the Moorr platform. Now, before I get into that, I want to just tell a story around that. You know, the platform has been evolving. We've had over 50,000 people register to use the platform, and there are tens of thousands of people who are looking at that through this book, the Make Money Simple Again book, and the Money Smart system that we introduced in here. So ultimately, it's a terrific financial engine, but there's a lot more to be said about what we're doing there. And so I want to tell a story in terms of the observations and the feedback that we've been getting from our Moorr community in terms of how they're using the platform. And the big observation is that we get to sort of look at people's finances. We get to understand them. They get to get that instant feedback. But there are some aspiring Australians who want to go to that next level of understanding. So by way of example, imagine if you wanted to look at, say, your digital subscriptions. And you were thinking about, well, look at all this money that we spend on digital subscriptions. Or look at all this money that we're spending on entertainment. And it was really clear that once you understood where all that money went, well, if that's a large number, say, you know, $700, $800 a year on entertainment, well, where is that going? Now, if you didn't have that next layer down, it was really difficult to understand the breakdown of that. In my own household, the perfect example is around recreational sport and hobbies. So we have two very active boys. They're doing all sorts of, extracurricular activity, such as basketball or football, taekwondo, all those types of things. So if we wanted to track that, if we only had recreational and hobby as a tracking tool, we weren't getting down to that extra layer. So that is what MyFINANCIALS and what I'm going to share with you today is all about. That's our big why. We want to go deeper and wider to allow you to have a more tailored solution and more understanding of your finances. So in this little video, I'm going to just step you through some of the significant changes so you can understand that. Now, that's obviously for our existing users, but also if you're new to Moorr, this is a great way to get a clear understanding of the direction that we're going in and basically what's new in terms of that. Now, to help us with this particular story, I'm going to look at the way in which we talk about a car analogy. Now, if you know a little bit about the platform, you also know it's the home of wealth speeds and wealth clock. And we love using that car analogy in terms of driving towards your lifestyle by design and achieving that level of financial peace of mind and security. And so we already have wealth speed and wealth clock built into the platform as part of the dashboard in terms of driving the car. But what we're talking about today is more significant. We're going to the actual engine of the car, and we have evolved that engine. So before the MyFINANCIALS tool is being released now, we had a pretty reliable engine. It did the job. It worked towards all the information inside our coaching manual, which is the book around Make Money Simple Again and the Money Smart solution on that. But there was more to do. So we had that classic structure where we have financial classifications, which is that sort of title layer, and we already had the financial items. And at that point, that's where you did the inputting, editing, and you also got some of your insights layer. But coming back to the story I was telling you about wanting to know, okay, if that's what I spend on expenses or holidays, how can I get to a better breakdown level of that particular information? And that is effectively part of the new information that's coming through, and that's about improving that functionality, improving that tailorization, and getting those greater insights as part of that story. So what have we got here? Well, this is MyFINANCIALS today. We have supercharged the financial engine that is now the core element of the overall platform. It delivers insights into financial story. It delivers insight into money management. It delivers insights into wealth creation and those outcomes when we start to look at those assets and how they're appreciating. It gives us insights into the property investment journey that a lot of us are also going on as well. So we retain the financial structure that is the classic financial classifications, which is the title layer, and also the financial items, which will be a future insight layer as well. But I want to introduce you now to the financial cards layer. And this becomes the new input, edit, archiving, recalling type cards. And there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be able to build off this particular layer. So it's going to give us greater tailorization that I talked about. So you can tailor things as we were talking about in the introduction, and then significantly deeper insights in terms of how we look at our finances if you want to go there. Now, here's a side note. If when you go in for the first time, if you're an existing user, all of your financial items are now created into cards. So you'll still keep that financial item layer, but you'll actually see the name moving across into financial cards as well. So let me explain that to you in more detail. So this is what the situation looked like before. There's our 4 items, financial classifications, I should say, and then we go into our financial items. Now, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the depth that we go into our financial items, because we think we're better than a lot of other competitors out there in terms of the scale of which the number of items that we have available for which you can categorize to. But now we've got this new financial layer. So this is the after story. So I was giving you an example before of digital subscriptions. So if I have Spotify, Foxtel, Disney Plus, Netflix, KO as an example, I'm now going to be able to track and understand all the commitments at that particular new layer. Now, again, what I mentioned a moment ago is when you roll into the new version with this new introduced card layer, you're going to basically see that those financial item naming conventions have carried forward into those card levels. So that will give you some understanding. Now, obviously off the back of that in the future, we're going to now be able to build in transactions and getting a lot of that sort of tracking capability attached to that as well. So, of course, everyone's talking about open banking and being able to get those automated through, and that's certainly on our roadmap in terms of our intentions. So let's summarize those quickly. Financial classifications, really clear and simple, consistent. Financial items, they come in income, expenditure areas, and we're going to be able to give you insights into those areas. You can't change these, so all roads will lead into those, and that's going to give us a lot of capability with the smart Opti Assistant that we're also building in there. So you'll see, again, future enhancements in this area are very exciting for us in terms of how we can then detect and show you opportunities to save more money or to potentially make your money work harder for you. So you've got obviously the first lot, then you've got assets and borrowings, as well as income and expenditure. Now, this is where I wanted to highlight, looking at these two, you can see that a lot of personal financial management apps or bank apps, they have all of these summarized into smaller item categories. So you might have home, you might have transport, you might have holidays, you might have food. So very, very basic health. Now, we've already superseded that with the original version of the Moorr platform and the original core financial engine that we had by having this extensive list of items available. And you can see them in all aspects of income, expenses, assets and borrowing. So just be mindful of just the scope that we're going to be able to do for you and help your household in terms of looking after those things. Then we come into the card view. So it's really clear that this is a new way for those existing users in terms of which you'll see. So we've moved right away from the form filling and the very, very boring approach into a more dynamic, more productive user experience and user interface in terms of that. And that marries up nicely also with our mobile app version of the platform. And just to give you that classification story, you can see here, there is the classification. So you can add a new classification by the plus buttons above each of the columns, or you can see the add the new card layer at the top there if you want to introduce greater granularity around how you're looking after your finances. And then you can see carrying through that is the finance items. So you'll have the opportunity to do independent naming conventions on each of those cards, and you'll see how that tiered relationship works, where we go from classification to item now down into the card view. The benefits of this are really clear. Let me summarise them for you. There's more control, there's less restrictions, but as I mentioned earlier, you don't have to go deep if you don't want to go deep, just keeping the basic items at the card level. You can continue to keep doing that. But if you want richer insights, you can start to introduce additional cards. That gives you obviously more of those tailoring options that we were talking about, greater insights. And greater insights means more understanding about where your money goes and how you can make that money work harder for you. In terms of quicker navigations to operate, we have no doubt that this will improve the speed in which you can get around and manage all of your different financial items inside the platform. No doubt better alignment in terms of the Moorr app. So we've got obviously the mobile app as well as the Moorr platform, which is available via the web browsers. And from our point of view, the new supercharge engine gives you more scope to do more things, such as our ability to introduce, coming soon, this provision of backdating your historical tracking. So one of the things that we wanted to sort of allow you to do, we want to get you away from spreadsheets, right? Spreadsheets are yesterday. The future is having this information accessible, whether it be on the go or at home when you're doing, some considered thinking around spending and what you're going to be doing and planning for your goals and your future. So the mission here is around this whole idea of, by able to be adding financial tracking and historical financial tracking, we're building a financial time machine that will allow you to go back and also see your progress. So it's definitely goodbye to spreadsheets and hello to one home for everything when it comes to managing your home financial affairs. And that will allow us to obviously get that improved performance monitoring and helping you being able to do that. And we know that obviously with AI and these sort of agents and smart assistants and co-pilots that are also being considered, they are definitely in our consideration and on our roadmap in terms of how we can continually keep building this out for you. So obviously a quick summary of what's going on here that hopefully gives you some great context for our existing users. But if you're brand new to us, it's giving you a great reason to try it out for the very first time. You've got an enormous amount of tools in there, such as the WealthSpeed Wealth Clock, managing your finances, Money Smarts, our rules-based money management system that allows you to manage your money in less than 10 minutes a month. They're all included in there. We obviously have the additional resources inside the brand new website we've also released as well. So if I can click out of that, I can give you some live demo in terms of, you've got the blogs here that will give you a lot of rich information in terms of how you maximize all the tools and features inside the Moorr platform. And you can see here when I click on the Get to Know More, you can see all of those latest releases, including the introduction of the new card view, which I've just explained to you today as part of the relaunch and the evolution of our financial area into what we now call MyFINANCIALS. So I really want to encourage you to have a look at that. As I said at the start of this presentation, it's really important for you to know what you're trying to achieve and use Moorr as that single platform that will help you get there. It's the one place in which you can store all of those important things, such as the goals, personal and financial, run your money management, look at your property portfolio if you're an avid investor like the vast majority of our community are, and then ultimately think about building that wealth creation as you go on that journey through tracking that evolution and the results that you're going to achieve. And that's why we here at Moorr have the saying, which is about achieving more with more, and for us to be able to giving you those tools to empower you to make sure that that happens. So I hope you enjoyed that. Go and check it out. If you're new, please download either the mobile app or the web version. What I've been talking about today is the release into the web version, but we obviously have the two different interfaces coming into your own personal rich data with lots of security layers, two-factor authentication in there as well. So what are you waiting for? Why not check it out and give us some feedback in terms of what you think about this new feature.